Thanks indeed. Yes, that's going to be a big occasion tomorrow. But viewers, today, part 2 of our continued investigation. It's a big story. It was very well received yesterday. One hopes that when you hear the details that I'm going to give out today, you will realize the magnitude of the problem. Viewers, villagers in 6 Trichy villages in Tamilnadu may be reeling from shock after they suddenly woke up to find that their land, ancestral land, has been claimed by the Waqf board. Because, viewers, of a draconian law framed in 1995 by the then Congress central government that gives them sweeping powers to take over any property. But what if I told you that the Waqf bullied the UPA government to cede acres upon acres of prized land in Delhi's Latian zone? And what if I told you that the land was granted? What if I told you that the decision was taken by Dr. Manmohan Singh's cabinet and informed via a secret note? What if I told you that the Congress was, quote, pleased, unquote, to hand over this land in Latian's Delhi, acres and acres of precious land? What if I told you that the decision was taken hurriedly, allegedly without a prior survey and just days before the 2014 elections? I'm sure you will think I'm spreading disinformation. Why would anyone bend over backwards to entertain the fancies of one particular organization? But I'm not, viewers, spreading disinformation. Your channel has unearthed the secret note. It has unearthed a massive surrender, and it even knows which properties these are in Cannaught Place, Ashoka Road, Mathura Road, and several other high-value VVIP enclaves. Here, viewers, in my hand is the UPA-era secret note, which gifted away Delhi on a platter to the Waqf. And it isn't just 1 or 2 properties, but 123 prized parcels of land in Latian's Delhi, some even running into hundreds of crore rupees. And it just took one phone call to denotify the land in favor of the Waqf board. Indeed, we know that clause 43 of the Waqf Act is so powerful that even a government can find it difficult to say no. At least the government that has a vested interest in keeping a particular vote bank happy. This 2014 note, secret note, let me take you through it, viewers. Here it writes, if you just focus on this document, right here on top, secret, most immediate. It's written on the 5th of March, 2014. It is sent out by Mr. Jay P. Prakash, who is the additional secretary, to Dr. Sudhir Krishna, Secretary, Ministry of Urban Development, New Delhi. Viewers, this note, which is signed by n number of officials, and all within just 2 weeks of the Lok Sabha polls being notified, says, please refer to the telephonic request. Telephonic request, I told you, one call, made by Secretary, Ministry of Urban Development on 04/3/2014, requesting that the decision of the Cabinet allowing the title to revert to Delhi Waqf Board or Mutawallis be communicated to the ministry pending formal issuance of minutes. Pending formal issuance of minutes. Look at the hurry, viewers. All words I'm reading out. Denotification of 123 properties in Delhi under the control of LNDO DDA, allowing the title to revert to Delhi Waqf Board or Mutawallis be communicated to the ministry pending formal issuance of minutes. Viewers, in this regard, it goes on to say, it is informed that the Cabinet has, in the meeting on 02/03/2014, just 3 days prior to this letter, considered note dated 04/02/2014 and the supplementary note dated 27/02/2014. This note was written by the Waqf, viewers, demanding these properties, circulated in the meeting from the Ministry of Urban Development regarding denotification of 123 properties in Delhi under the control of LNDO DDA and allowing the title to revert to the Delhi Waqf Board or Mutawallis, and approved the proposals contained in paragraph 16 of the main note subject to the following conditions. The conditions are listed here, viewers. The minutes of the meeting will be issued in due course. Act even before the minutes of the meeting have been put out. In the meantime, this letter is being issued on your request to take further action in the matter with regards J.P. Prakash. Viewers, what happens then is a list of properties. Here all of the properties listed. You can see them. They're in my hand, each one of them. You also have, on the 5th of March, Ministry of Home Affairs notification. In pursuance of powers vested under Section 93 of the Right to Fair Compensation and Transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013, 30 of 2013, the central government is pleased. Viewers, pleased. The government is joyfully doing this to withdraw from acquisition of the below mentioned Waqf properties under control of LNDO and Delhi Development Authority subject to the following conditions. So, viewers, what you have here is acre upon acre, 123 prized properties handed on a platter to the Waqf, which decided that the time had come to claim them. Viewers, let me now take you over some of these properties. It's not just any land, but prime and prized land in the heart of Delhi, which was gifted away by the Congress to the Waqf. Let's give you a sense of what the gifts to Waqf are worth. Let's put it on our screens. What are gifts to Waqfs worth? Now, viewers, you have a property, Minto Bridge Mosque, Cannaught Place, land rate 7.74 lakh square meters. Muslim graveyard along Lodhi Road, land rate 7.74 lakh square meters. Masjid Tibia College, Karol Bagh, land rate 1.5 lakh square meters. Dargah Sahib opposite Jama Masjid, land rate 90,000 square meters. Muslim graveyard, Lodhi Road, land rate 63,000 square meters. This is the MCD's minimum circle rate of 2014. Viewers, we are telling you what the properties were worth back then. Viewers, in fact, we traveled to two of the properties which were generously gifted away to the Waqf. They're in prime locations of Motilal Nehru Marg and near Tilak Bridge. One of them, viewers, is even inside Rashtrapati Bhavan, believe it or not. Watch these ground reports. Listen in.
Spread criticism of the Waqf vote by the right-wing organization in the country. Here we are at one of the 123 properties owned by Waqf vote which were given to them by the central government. That has raised a controversy in the country. Here at the Motilal Nehru Marg, in the heart of the national capital, just minutes away from the parliamentary building in Delhi. We are at the Tilak Bridge in the national capital, and just left side of this Tilak Bridge is one of the 123 properties of Waqf vote that they are claiming to be theirs. In the affidavit filed, in a counter affidavit filed in the Delhi High Court in the response against a petition filed by a BJP leader Ashwini Upadhyay and also senior advocate Vishnu Jain. This is a Babasa mosque just nearby the Tilak Bridge in the national capital, and this is one of the property of the Waqf vote that they are claiming.
Now, viewers, there's a problem here. The problem is that when the NDA came in, they halted the transfer. And it's only a problem for the Waqf. Why? Because, viewers, a judgment of a court previously, of a high court, had said that it is incumbent upon any government to first get a survey commissioned through the Waqf board to determine if these properties were genuinely properties belonging to the Waqf board. That survey was never done, viewers. And this was confirmed to us by the person who led the single-member committee appointed by the NDA after they halted this transfer, which the UPA was pleased to enact. Viewers, after the single-person committee made its report, another committee was set up, a two-person committee with IAS officers. The first one was a judge. Second committee was set up a few years ago to once again look into all of this. The matter is in court because when the government decided to give one of these impugned properties to the ITBP, the Waqf went to court. That matter is also being heard, viewers, in the court. So there's a gridlock. Sarkari properties claimed because, viewers, as I told you, no other organization, trust or body representing any other faith has such unbridled powers. When we confronted the Waqf chairman of Tamilnadu, he laughed off the concerns of the villagers of Trichy who were on the verge of losing their lands to the Waqf. You saw that last night. This exclusive right enjoyed by the Waqf makes a mockery of the idea of equality under the Constitution. It trivializes secularism, it mocks the members of other faiths, and it is against the principles of natural justice. But viewers, when petitioners move the Supreme Court, calling upon the Supreme Court to strike down this draconian provision which empowers the Waqf, the Jamaat-e-Islami, has come out a very influential Muslim party and has sought to intervene and, viewers, stop the courts from taking any action. The Jamaat clearly doesn't think there's anything wrong. In fact, its leaders think that getting special privileges is a God-given right. That's why the Jamaat is fighting petitioners who are challenging the impunity granted to the Waqf by the Act of Parliament. Last night I showed you how the Congress Ida amendment to the Waqf Act dating back to 1995 gives the Waqf special powers. I took you through each one of those special powers. Viewers, it's the only body that can declare any registered, viewers, mark my words, property of trust society as Waqf. And it can then initiate an inquiry. Waqf can then call for the registration of such property under the Waqf Act. Or Waqf board can call upon those individuals to respond via show cause why such property should not be so registered in the Waqf's name. Section 54 of the Waqf Act 1995, in case of encroachment, Waqf CO will serve a show cause notice and conduct an inquiry. If Waqf CO is satisfied that property is Waqf's, that may ask the tribunal to order the eviction. If they refuse to evict within 45 days, board can take possession of property. Viewers, no other authority in this country has that much power. Tomorrow they can come to your home and say it's standing on Waqf land. We've done some sort of a survey. We notify you. Tell us why you think this property should not be handed over to us. If you can't furnish a reasonable explanation in 45 days, you're out. You're out. And you can't do anything because Section 101 of the Waqf Act also denotes every member of the Waqf board as a public servant. So if you try to obstruct, you try to stop, you could go to jail. Viewers, this shows that the Waqf has been empowered to run basically an empire of its own. And it has an empire. It's the third, arguably the third largest holder of land. And a lot of that land, viewers, is contested. Just like in Trichy, where the villagers are shocked. They said that Generation upon generation of our family owned this land, and suddenly we are being told it's not ours. Let's open this up. Let's understand what is going on, how this came to be. I want to first begin with Kamru Choudhury, leader of the Congress. Mr. Choudhury, your government almost gave away Delhi's Latyan zone. Latyan zone on a platter to the Waqf.
Yeah.
What was the compulsion? Secret note was written. It was done in a great hurry. You didn't even want to wait for the minutes of the meeting to be communicated. You gave them impunity under the law.
Well, Rahul, yeah, can I come in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rahul, the basic point is that you are starting from 1995, but the Mussalman Waqf Act of 1923, then you have got the Bengal Waqf Act of 1934, then when the Central Waqf Council was formed in 1964. These are all the precedents of the Act. 1995, the Act was re-amended and re-modified to protect the Waqf properties, which was under illegal adverse possession so long that most of the Waqf properties as of now are encroached by illegal settlers. I am not going to specifics of any particular case, but here I want to bring in the judgment of the Supreme Court, wherein it says is covered by the specific provisions of the section 6 and 7 of the Waqf Act 1995, hence is required to be decided by the tribunal. Tribunal is a quasi-government body. It is appointed by the government to decide on the nature of the character of the land, whether it is a Waqf or not. Now you see, whenever there is a Waqf property, there are three characters of the Waqf property. Any property cannot be deemed to be Waqf unless there is a Waqf Nama, or what we call the registered deed in the name of either God, that we call Allah, or in the name of Waqful Aulad, or it is come under the central administration of the Waqf board. So nobody can declare any property as Waqf until the original owner has gifted that in these three particular cases. A Kabristan, a mosque will always be coming under
Mr.
some
Choudhury,
Matawalis or under the
Mr.
central
Choudhury, don't tell us what we already know. Thank you for making this act so draconian. Now I want to ask you a very specific question. Very specific question.
No,
Your government in 1991 brought about the Places of Worship Act, right? It actually prevents Hindus from reclaiming their own mandirs, religious places that they believe have been encroached upon by the Waqf. So you favor one, not the other.
There is always a court of law.
But sir, the Waqf gets its own tribunal.
There is always a
the
court
Waqf
of law
gets its own tribunal. We have to go to the court of law.
Yes,
every other denomination, Sikhs, Christians, Jews, everyone.
No, why not?
Hindus.
Why
we go
not?
to the civil courts, you go to your tribunal. Okay, okay, let's get the other side.
This is nothing to do with anything to... Rahul, let me finish.
This has got everything to do with appeasement. Am I not right?
With the Hindus or Muslim.
Right.
This is not appeasement. This is the protection of the properties that have been gifted in the name of God.
Why only, sir? Why only for one community? What about Hindus? What about Christians? What about Sikhs? What about other denominations?
So why don't you frame your own law?
Why don't you frame your own law? Because you live in a separate country. Go do your own work. Okay, let me bring in advocate Sai Deepak. Let me bring him in.
Debatto
advocate Sai Deepak. Sai Deepak.
Just 10 seconds more, please, Rahul. A debatto property, a trustee property cannot be built for other purposes other than the intention that is meant for the worship of
Sir,
the Lord.
don't please tell me that.
That is the debatto
Don't tell me that. Please don't tell me that. We know what is happening in Gyanvapi. I'm not prejudicing any case. In Tamil Nadu, in Trichy, you've decided to take over a 1500-year-old temple when you in India as Islam goes, is about 1,000, 1,200 years old.
Tribunal, let them decide it.
Let them, you see, that's the problem. It's not them who decide, it's the tribunal that will decide. A tribunal set up under your act, by you. Let me bring in Sai Deepak. Okay.
Let it.
Okay, Mr. Chaudhury, one second. Let me bring in Mr. Sai Deepak. What does you make?
That is under the Constitution of India.
Okay.
You are violating the Constitution.
Yes, I don't know who's violating it. Let me bring in Mr. J. Sai Deepak. Let him answer you, sir. He's also a lawyer. Yes, Mr. Sai Deepak, what do you make of Mr. Chaudhury's arguments today that we are all violating the constitution of this country? We have usurped Waqf land and they should get it back. We've strengthened their arms to get it back. You're on mute, I think. Mr. J. Sai Deepak, you're on mute. Yeah. Go ahead. Yes.
Am I audible now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. This point is that land which has been endowed by members of a particular community to their deity belongs to that particular community and it must be protected. And that there must be legislation to protect it. Right? Now apply the very same logic to the land endowed by members of the Hindu community to their temples. So here's what I would ask you to compare. The HRC legislations on the one hand and the manner in which the land of Hindu temples and Hindu community is treated by the state governments on the one hand, and the freedom that is given to this particular community through the Waqf Act. Because for all practical purposes, the very same land that is endowed by Hindus to their own communities, to their own temples, are taken over by the state and they are used for so-called secular non-religious purposes such as construction of roads, such as in Tirupati, construction of metro stations such as in Tamilnadu and other places. Whereas on the other hand, this particular community effectively has the right to issue show cause notices to others, basically saying, if you do not show cause as to why this belongs to you, it otherwise belongs to me. That is the onus that is effectively cast on members of the community. So unless and until you raise a red flag or an objection explaining how this particular title belongs to you, it otherwise belongs to us. These kind of sweeping powers have been given. And once that happens, we are then expected to run to a tribunal to prove our title with respect to our property. And the example that you pointed out, an institution that is longer than the life of Islam, or let's say, or its existence, so to speak, is expected to prove to Islam and its adherents as to why the land belongs to it. So I'm sorry to say, the existence of legislation in 1920s and 1934 is no reason for the subsistence of the legislation after the Constitution coming into existence. Because those legislations have never been tested on the anvils of the Constitution and the equality that it effectively prescribes and postulates. Now, the question that I would want to ask is this. It's not a question of you promulgating a particular law.
The Waqf Act was enacted.
Sir, can you stop speaking over him? Let him finish his point. You can respond to him, please. His connection is not the best in any case. Please. Yes.
You have to realize that under the British period, two things happened. First, they came out with legislations which gave Muslims the specific power to control their own property. And in places like the Madras Presidency, they initially had a legislation until 1863 and thereafter until 1913, where both mosques and temples were under British control. Subsequently, exclusively temples came under British control, mosques were relieved of British control. And that particular policy has continued under so-called independent Bharat. So today, land belonging to Christians is not under state control. It is entirely under the control of the community. Muslims have a Waqf Act where they have autonomy. Hindus are the only community whose land as well as their temples are under the control of the state. This is the position. How is this fair on any anvil of so-called secularism that is subscribed to by Bharat? This is a question for everybody to answer.
This is a very interesting question that is being posed. 1 second. Let's open this up. Let me also get in Tala Rashid and Telangana Waqf Board Chief also. Let me first bring in Muhammad Masiullah Khan, Chairman of the Telangana Waqf Board. Mr. Khan, do you believe that only one faith should have a free run in this country? Why are you opposing a move being made by certain petitioners
talking about the Waqf land
to strike down this draconian act, which singularly gives only one community such powers?
See, shall I say you something? The community which has donated the land from our forefathers, and because of the masjids and for the khabristan and for every individual things for our community to help them out, These properties are got from our forefathers. You can see the Waqf Act, which can I show on my this thing on your page, your channel. So what is Waqf Act? I want to say my brother advocate who is online, he was talking about I think he can't know about the right things of the Waqf land. Waqf land is always Waqf land. Our forefathers have registered the lands on the many trusts and many things. But in all other communities like Hindu community, they donated the lands in endowment. But the endowment land can also sell the land and can also buy the land. But Waqf is always Waqf. We can't buy the land, we can't sell the land. Our forefathers have registered the sale dates, which is called as Kitabul Mulk, Kitabul Haq, and Book of the Endowment in section 36. You people can see the which all they have written in all. And one more thing, and this all have done from the Survey Commission. From you can see the section 4 and 5, which all lands came from our forefathers, which they donated from their own rights. They have donated many acres of land, like 400 to 500 acres each places. So how can you say the government has donated, government has given a gift to the Muslim community? This is all words are made wrong.
Sai Deepak, would you like to respond very quickly before I bring in Vishnu?
Because this
Vishnu Shankar Jain.
Which forefather of this community donated land to 1500-year-old temple? I would like to understand. Perhaps that is a question that needs to be answered, because I don't think there were any Muslim forefathers in this country 1500 years ago. So it's really astounding that he has made a statement about his forefathers.
But then why you can ask your forefathers if you can have the answer. You ask your forefathers, they will question your answer very easily.
And it is his position
because my forefathers have donated the land. We have the registered documents. We have enough.
Viewers, this is the real problem.
Gift deeds.
Anyone can come up with any claim. You can say so and so gave it to me, such and such person, and there is no statute of limitation also applicable. So they can go back all the way, 300, 400, 500, 600 years. Vishnu Jain?
We can't claim our properties and temples. The places of worship are
because they have done, they were the kings at the time. They were the Jagirdars at the time. They have donated many lands.
Let me bring in Vishnu Jain. Vishnu Jain, what do you make of these arguments from Mr. Khan?
We have the sale.
Yes, Tala Rashidi. Okay, 1 second. Let's one by one, gentlemen, please. Gentlemen, one by one.
We can show on the record. I'm not talking on the
any
oral ground on you. I'm talking about my oral ground, but I'm not talking with you anything else. We have registered documents with us.
So every invader who comes in will create a waqf and basically say that it's his property. That's exactly how Babri Masjid was made a waqf property.
Absolutely. Even Babri Masjid was made a waqf property. So is the Gyanvapi Masjid. Viewers, it's very interesting. Under the tenets of the faith, correct me if I'm wrong, a waqf property cannot be created on a desecrated piece of land or land that is claimed by another community or is polluted ritually. But here, on desecrated pieces of land,
shall I say you
something? Have waqf properties. 1 second, sir, please. Let me bring in Vishnu Jain and let me bring in Tala Rashidi. Mr. Rashidi, I am on a different principle tonight. I am asking a very basic question. And that question is, how is it, sir, that you are defending a principle which goes against, or an act which goes against the basic principles of natural justice? Mr. Rashidi, on what grounds?
To this, I will only say, कहना क्या चाहते हो भाई? What exactly you want to say here, Rahul? What is the point that you want to make here? Would you just clarify it?
I've already clarified it, sir. You have complete free run.
See, you know, the problem here is, Rahul, the natural justice occurs to you as per your own convenience or as per the lobbyist convenience. A few days back, when there was an issue regarding... Let me respond. Now, please don't debate me. Let me respond. Give me 30 seconds. A few days back, there was an issue regarding some Ganesh Utsav in a place in Karnataka when the land belonged to the Idgah. Now, the municipal corporation said that the land was their own, so they can allow any party to organize anything as they want, whatever that might be it Ganesh Utsav or anything else. But now again, when the issue comes with the Waqf board, which is a government statutory body, you have issues there. That time you were in support of the municipal corporation because that was against Muslims. The Muslims were the victims. Now here the Hindus are victims.
Tala Rashid, please just answer the basic question that I've asked you. The Waqf, please don't digress. Come back to the main issue. See, you're not answering the question I'm asking you, sir.
Rahul, can I respond?
Yes.
You are being for.
No, Vishnuji, 1 second. Gentlemen, Mr. Rashidi, you know, your problem is you look for conspiracy theories. I look for facts.
No.
You look for conspiracy theories. I look for facts. The facts are staring you in the face. Anyone can get up. I mean, we have a situation here that a 1500-year-old temple is being claimed when Islam in India itself is not more than 1200 years. I mean, isn't that such simple land? And then you are saying that kisi purvajon ne some ancestors gave us this. That is the problem.
Rahul,
Sir, the law allows you to make any claim on anything, and you have your own infrastructure, your own survey paid by the government to go ahead and say this is mine.
Does the panel, we have 2 court officers sitting here. Do they have faith in law of the land?
Okay, let me bring in Vishnu Jain. Vishnu Jain, respond. Respond to Mr. Rashidi. It's about faith in the Supreme Court. It's about faith in the law of the land.
Rahul, today, and that land came into under work.
Mr. Rashidi, 1 second. Mr. Rashidi, listen to Mr. Jain. Yes.
Just simply.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Rahul, today just I want to simply add one more concept to Waqf. Whatever you have told today is you have very nicely capsulated it, but I want to add something further. Now I want to read the definition of Waqf, its 2-line definition. What does the Waqf mean? Waqf means a permanent dedication by any person of any immovable or movable property for any purpose recognized by Muslim law as pious. So it means that there has to be a dedication by any Muslim, and that dedication has to be Allah, that this property is donated for a charitable purpose. But it adds further. So today, if there is no deed of dedication, there is a new concept under the Waqf Act and by the judgments of various courts, that's called, Rahul, Waqf by user.
Right.
Waqf by user means that even if there is no dedication, if you are using a particular property for 200 years, 300 years, or you don't know from what time you are using, that also is Waqf. So I am facing today a problem in not just Kashi, Mathura, in so many parts of the country, where if we ask a question in the court of law that boss, please tell us that who dedicated this property to you. And precisely, let me give you an example. In Taj Mahal's case, the Honorable Supreme Court asked the question to the Waqf board that when you have dedicated this property as Waqf property and show us the deed of dedication by Shah Jahan. No answer has been given by the Waqf board till now. Rahul, the point is this, that how can these concepts be given a legal regime? How can these concepts be given a legal recognition where there is no such concept for the members of the Hindu community? If today I am saying that I am worshipping in my temple in Gyanvapi from time immemorial, there is no concept of trust by user. I have to prove documents, I have to show history, I have to show various travelogues to say that yes, I was existing prior in time. But for them, even if they are existing there from 50 years, 60 years, that is also Waqf. So Rahul, I want to add something else today. My friend here, I was listening to my co-panelist, he said that this Waqf Act was existing from a long time. It was in 1936, 1954. I want to say something else, Rahul. This said, all these powers, Rahul.
Lawyer of your stature.
Sir, just a minute.
You are empaneled in the central government's panel, sir.
Rahul, can I respond? Rahul, all these kinds of powers
Chaudhury,
are
no, hang on, Mr. Chaudhury, he has not attacked you. He's not attacked you. He can also call you all sorts of names. You know, this is the problem. Please stop name calling. Don't get personal. No, if you have what facts do you have, sir? You show me. Can you show me any reason? Can you show me any reason why weeks before you demit office, you pass through a secret note a notification to give most of Latian zone
complete one sentence.
To the Waqf board?
Totally misquoting the facts.
What misquoting what facts? Here it is on paper. I've read out the facts.
1954 Waqf Act. 1964 the Waqf Act.
Congress government in 1954, sir. Congress government in 1954. Congress government in 1991. Congress government in 1995. Congress government in 2013. Congress government in 2014 March.
Rahul, the whole Lutyens zone is a work property.
No, then why are you quoting the 1995 Act?
Was not
There
been
is no
given.
such
It's a truth.
provision.
1995 Act is nothing.
Rashmi Samant also wants to come
This is a gimmick to cancel the Muslims in India.
Sir, no
You
one,
have
there is no
assaulted their
gimmick.
Muslim identity,
This is about
their
equality under
lifestyle,
the
their
law.
livelihood,
Please,
and now
don't
Muslim
play the
properties.
victim card here, Mr. Choudhury. If anyone who should be playing the victim card are those poor Hindu
This is not a
devotees
victim
who are
card.
standing
Mr.
outside,
Mr. Rahul,
excommunicated
can I
from
say
their place
something?
of worship.
This
Please,
all records
in
have
Gyalwaki,
been generated
one minute,
from
one minute,
1952.
one minute,
From the
please.
revenue records have been
Repeal
One
generated
minute,
the
please.
Waqf Act,
Rashmi Samant, I want to bring you in.
Preventing you.
1 second.
But
Let's
then
talk.
once
If you
the
want to talk about
Constitution
cancel
has
culture,
given us
let's
the
talk about.
authority.
No,
I
let's
just
talk
want
to
to
Rashmi Samant.
tell
She
to
knows a
Mr.
thing or two
Choudhury.
about cancel culture. 1 second, sir, please. Mr. Khan, please, just 1 second, please. Yes.
Well, if I may add something,
Yes.
the
Sir,
very
this all records
intrinsic
have been
nature
generated from
Not
of the
fair,
law
Mr. Khan, not
is
fair.
what is allowing the panelists here to indulge in the kind of whataboutery that they are. What's missing is that the very nature of these laws is abusive and exploitative of the indigenous people of India, the people who follow the indigenous faith, that is Hinduism. All of this, I think you can see a lot of religion, you can see temples and everything, but what I can see is a poor Hindu man who was trying to sell off his land,
Cancel culture, the question.
and he was trying to sell his land to clear off his loans. And just imagine a poor man is in so much trouble, not being able to do so, just because a draconian law that is being enabled by decades of rule by a party that has exactly preyed on these kinds of things to appease a particular community and exploit the sentiments and the public interest of this country is what we are seeing. The Congress, what it has done is it has basically abused the public interest of this country, of the Hindus.
Well,
and the result
it's very, very sad. It's very, very sad because, viewers, this note says, we are pleased to withdraw. Central government is pleased to give over land without even conducting a survey. The court has said so, viewers, not Rahul Shivshankar. And therefore, no relief has been given to the Waqf board. I want to bring in Sai Deepak here. Sai Deepak, 1 second. I want to ask you. Now, there are two problems here. Number one, there is, of course, the legal route to solve all this. But there's also the legislative route. Where exactly in this particular matter should the intervention be made?
See, for all practical purposes, it is possible for the central government to make an intervention, should they choose to do so. But unfortunately, whether it's the Places of Worship Act or the Waqf Act, we have seen repeated instances where we are constrained to go to courts, which is why some of the panelists here have the arrogance to basically say, you have a problem, go to court, because they know for a fact that no government is going to repeal this. Especially when, whether it is in the context of Places of Worship Act or the Waqf Act, a dispensation which was previously in the opposition and which opposed that legislation tooth and nail, which has the ability to repeal these legislations with a single stroke of pen legally and constitutionally, they should be doing so. When the government is looking for land for public properties and public goods, so to speak, and here you have actually land which has been encroached and legalized in the name of Waqf, that needs to be taken back as long as they're able to produce even one single document which basically says that this is how the endowment was made. The concept of Waqf by user, as Mr. Vishnujan points out, needs to be abolished. That needs to be cancelled altogether. Because that means tomorrow any religious community can simply encroach a vacant land and basically say, now you come and show me how you have acquired this particular property, failing this belongs to my particular community. This encroaches on the physical space of other communities and also land that is available for public good. But most importantly, it shows that the predatory expansionist tendencies of a particular mindset has been legitimized and legalized through the Waqf Act, period.